Welcome to Nintendo Ninja News. I'm your host, Chris Tysus, and we're here to talk about Nintendo being very, very greedy. Now, I'm a little bit late to the news cycle here, but because so many different story updates have been happening, I thought that I would just wait and talk about all the shenanigans that Nintendo has been up to. And look, you can say the price increases could have been to the tariffs, but Doug Bowser, president of Nintendo America, just said, "No, we decided to jack up the prices because fuck yes, because we can." Also, the same thing with game prices. They've moved up here in Australia from $80 to 110. It's like a 30% increase. Why? Because they can. The video game industry has been trying to push hard to push video games up from 60 to 70 to $80, especially with news of GTA 6 coming out. And it seems like Nintendo has given the green light to the whole industry that you can push up your prices by, 25% in America, which is pretty damn poor. Let's have a look at some of the other terrible things that Nintendo has been doing. Um, Dog Bowser's answer, which is unbelievably bad, said it did not affect the price. Any previous towns that were not factored in the price, I would have just lied and just said, "Oh yes, we definitely put it in there." But he says that the reason why it's more expensive because inflation, a bigger LCD, the new game chat, redesigned Joy Cons, and more powerful internal chips. It's because they can charge more, I think. Now, I think my personal opinion about the tariffs is that Nintendo did factor in a little bit of pricing with the tariffs, and they're just saying it has nothing to do with it. And I think the reason why they gave that answer and they're sort of lying is because Nintendo doesn't want to become political. If you become political as a company, you lose half of your audience. It just creates more drama for them to deal with. So it's easier to just say, "Oh, it wasn't a price increase due to the tariffs. It's just natural inflation, whatever bullshit excuse they want to say." Um, the other one, other shenanigans. Not only all the accessories are overpriced, and there's lots of them, uh, Joy Cons, the straps, a dock if you probably want to buy one later on. Even a camera is like $80, which is not great. Even the welcome tour price, which costs $10, that should be for free. It is a tech demo. It is no more than a tech demo. So I don't know why anyone should be. Bowser said that the game would cost $10 when it launches on June 5th, which seems absolutely insane for what it is, mini games. He says, as this game was being developed, what's been packed into the depth of mini game experiences, they're very deep, very repeatable, and we looked at the price of play experience and opportunity. We felt that $10 was a fair price to ask for it. Now, we got Wii Sports for free, and that was a more fleshed out game. This is not the company Reggie Iwata. This is a company who's a little more about the business side rather than the video game side. So that makes it very annoying as well. So this is another poor decision and another poor answer. I can't understand why. And they've talked about variable pricing with the games, which there's not going to be much variable pricing. I think the majority are going to be at the $80 in America or 110 here in Australia or more. The worst one, this was the one that got me really cranky. They're not going to use Hall Effect Joy-Cons. They're going to cheapen on it again. We potentially have even more, another generation of broken Joy-Cons, which is very, very annoying. So does not employ anti-drift effect Joy-Cons. When asked about it, says the Joy-Cons feel so different to the original Switch's analog stick And this is the answer that Nate gives us, that the Joy-Con 2's controllers have been designed from the ground up. They're not Hall effect sticks, but they feel really good. I don't want them to feel really good. I want them to fucking work. I don't get it. I don't want them to feel good. I just want to make sure that they last longer than 6 months out of the box that you buy it from. So that was just a really poor. And he says, and also too, someone else has pitched in and said, redesigned everything from the scratch for Joy-Con 2 compared to the Joy-Con controllers for Switch. The controller sticks are larger and more durable with smoother movement. We also made the Joy-Con 2 bigger to match the larger console. I don't know if it's going to work or not. I don't think it will. It might. I'm going to say that it's going to be better than the original, but you're still going to have problems because Nintendo decided to cheap it out. So I have no idea. I have no idea. So it is a really annoying thing to deal with, Nintendo, and we might be seen as a cheerleader channel because we talk about Nintendo, but this kind of reminds me of cocky Nintendo back in the 80s when they really ruled the video game industry, or Sony after the high priced PlayStation 3 when they started to get cocky when they had a lot of market share. So I don't know what's going to be happening um about these type of issues. However, there is one more thing I like to talk about, and it's not really to do with Nintendo. But I know they've stuck the boot into Nintendo rightfully. I think the console's a bit overpriced, the games are way overpriced, the accessories are way overpriced. The charging for a deck Tomo, Doug Bowser's interview was terrible, and um it just seems like people are not going to be happy, even with the tariffs. But this is one thing I like to show you, and for some reason, gamers tend to put too much weight on one thing and not on the other. Now, there's a lot of problems in the video game industry, but I do want to ask one question. Why is it in this video game industry you can be a company like Ubisoft and have rampant sexual assault, harassment, and rape over the past decade? CEOs and workers there are dealing with criminal court action. But if you put my video games up by $10, there's going to be outrage. So I don't know which one is more of a bigger issue in the video game industry. And I'm not saying that one is good or one is bad, both are not that great, but I feel like sometimes we put a little too much weight on one thing and not the other. So Nintendo, they're in a bit of a crisis mode. We'll see what will happen with them, but we'll keep you updated on that. So that's it for me, and I shall see you next time.